Hey mathletes, in this video we're going to look at solving one-step equations. So the main idea behind solving one-step equations is that you have a left-hand side and a right-hand side of an equation separated by an equal sign, and that the two things on either side are the same. So t plus 7 is exactly the same as 12. Equations are also balanced, which means anything I do to the left-hand side, I need to do exactly the same thing to the right-hand side. So the way we're going to solve for our variable is by undoing whatever operation we see. So if we see added 7, we need to subtract 7. So we know that by the end of solving this, we want to get our variable all by itself on whatever side it is. In this case, it's on the left-hand side. So we don't want 7 more than t, we just want t by itself. So we're going to take this 7 and we're going to cut it off. If we cut it off this side, we need to cut it off of this side. So the additive identity says that since 7 minus 7 is 0 and t plus 0 is just t, then we've already solved for it. So 12 minus 7 is 5. Now over in this example, we have 9 equals x minus 8. So in this case, 9 is on the left-hand side and the variable is on the right-hand side. It doesn't actually matter what side the variable is on when you're solving an equation, and sometimes it's easier just to leave it where it is. Remember, when we're done, we want to have x all by itself. You're trying to isolate the variable, which means we don't want 8 less than x, so we need to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So when we add 8 to the minus 8, we have to add 8 to the 9. Since negative 8 plus 8 is 0, and x plus 0 is just x, again, this is the additive identity. So we say this cancels out, even though all we mean is that it equals 0, and 9 plus 8 is 17. So for this example down here, the variable t is back on the left-hand side. When it looks like a fraction, that line in a fraction just means division. So we have t divided by negative 3 equals positive 6. So the opposite operation of division is multiplication. So we want to multiply by negative 3. This is the inverse property. T divided by negative 3 is really negative 1/3 multiplied by t. The inverse property says that if I multiply by the inverse, I get 1. And the multiplicative identity says that 1 times t is just t. So if there's a negative 3 on the top and a negative 3 on the bottom of a fraction, those cancel out and give you 1. We just need to make sure that also we multiply the right-hand side by negative 3. So 6 multiplied by negative 3 is negative 18. In our last example over here, the variable is back on the right-hand side. We're going to leave it there. So when we isolate it, if we have a number equals r, that's the same as r equals the number. It's called the reflexive property. So when the number is directly next to the variable, that means multiply. So here we have negative 4 multiplied by r. The opposite operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by negative 4. If you divide the right-hand side by negative 4, make sure you divide the left-hand side by negative 4. So in this case, it looks like we have a fraction of negative 4 over negative 4. Anytime you have the same number in the numerator as you do the denominator, it equals 1. And 1r is just r. So some people say you're just canceling these out. You're not really canceling them out. It just equals 1, so you don't need it anymore. 16 divided by negative 4 is just negative 4. So the main idea behind this is keeping the left-hand side and the right-hand side of an equation balanced. Anything you do to one side, you have to do to the other side, and you can use the opposite operations to isolate the variable.